As Doctor Who threatens to defy regeneration, clinging to continuity like a Dalek refusing to accept stairs, another British icon faces a more existential crisis as James Bond, that suave, martini-swilling emblem of Britishness, is being prized from his own cultural moorings and handed over to the transatlantic overlords at Amazon. This cinematic super spy whose bow tie has barely settled after No Time to Die is now subject to the whims of an American tech giant, a move that may well transform 007 from an MI6 agent to a generic action hero in a landscape already oversaturated with them. And all actually inspired by Bond. For decades, the Broccoli family has maintained an iron grip on the creative direction of Bond. Even after Amazon bought MGM in 2021 for the eye-watering $8.45 billion, the Broccolis still retained their gatekeeper status. But now, with Michael G. Wilson retiring and Barbara Broccoli stepping back, Amazon has assumed creative control. The ramifications of this are as yet unclear, but if Hollywood's recent output is anything to go by, I think we should be worried. A Bond severed from its Britishness is no Bond at all. Emasculated Bond. And while the franchise has always adapted to changing times, evolving from Connery's rakish womanizer to Craig's brooding, semi-monogamous government assassin, it's always remained quintessentially British. It's a series steeped in Savile Row tailoring, Aston Martins, and a brand of deadpan wit that is as much a weapon as Bond's Walter PPK. Even as Daniel Craig's tenure attempted to deconstruct Bond, questioning his masculinity, his relevance, and ultimately blowing him to smithereens, the film retained its cultural DNA. Amazon's priorities, however, lie in cultural expansion. Reports indicate a desire for spin-offs, streaming series, and a potential Bond cinematic universe. But Bond isn't Marvel. You can't churn out endless variants, alternative endings, multiverse nonsense. The character is, by design, finite. He operates in the shadows, in a world of intrigue and espionage, and diluting that mystique in service of endless content will be its undoing. Moreover, there are signs that Bond himself may be reimagined to fit the data-driven, franchise-optimized vision of modern streaming. An Amazon executive reportedly questioned whether Bond is a hero at all. A statement that, while intellectually provocative, it's a similar statement to the one being made about Doctor Who, isn't it? It suggests a dangerous misunderstanding of what has made the franchise endure. Bond is not a superhero. He's a government assassin with a moral code, a relic of Cold War-era politics, who's evolved just enough to remain relevant. Stripping away his identity in an attempt to sanitize or modernize him risks creating a character as bland as the countless generic action leads littering streaming services. Casting, of course, remains a hot topic. Amazon's takeover means the final say on Bond's next incarnation may rest in Seattle rather than Soho. The usual names, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Theo James, Henry Cavill, continue to circulate, though Amazon's control raises new questions. Will they prioritize a fresh, bankable face or a radical reimagining? Broccoli has long been open to a black or a gay Bond, but resisting making him female or non-British. Will Amazon share this stance, or will they bend to the latest focus grouped trends? It's worth remembering that Bond has survived many perceived crises before. He's weathered the camp excess of Roger Moore, the legal battles that sidelined Timothy Dalton, and the smug self-parody of Die Another Day. The Craig era, for all its dour self-reflection, reinvigorated the series and proved that Bond's appeal transcends any single actor or any single creative team. But there is a line between evolution and dilution, and if Amazon's Bond becomes just another content vehicle, stripped of its heritage, its distinctiveness, its cinematic craftsmanship, it risks ceasing to be Bond at all. And in a world where Mission Impossible and John Wick already exist, we must ask, what then would be the point of another Mission Impossible, another John Wick, but by another name, and already with a pedigree so old it's considered to be stale? So in the famous credits that promise that James Bond will return, one must wonder in what form And will we even recognize who he is and what he does?